Hey there, I didn't know I was going to be making this video, but inspiration struck, so here I am. So Final Fantasy VII, disclaimer, I didn't play the first game and I haven't even played the remake, but the reason I feel like I can make this theory is because Tetsuya Nomura is directing this game, and I've been studying hundreds of hours of Kingdom Hearts stuff and just his work and his method of writing and all that jazz. So what I'm trying to propose is, we've seen this before in other works of his, and he may be trying to do something very similar in Final Fantasy VII Remake. So the first thing I want to present is, what's up with the name? Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's almost too blatant. Why call it remake? Like, how many games or movies or whatever you know that go blah 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 remake just because it's a reboot? It's very rare that ever happens. The times that I can note that it does happen is like remasters, where they're porting the same exact game to another console. It makes sense to not have a very creative name because there's not much creativity going on. They're just taking one thing and making it another thing. However, Final Fantasy VII Remake is its own thing. It's a game made from the ground up and even has its own story. It has alterations from the original. Which brings me to my first point. What if this isn't just an alternate retelling, but an alternate timeline? What if the two games are actually canon to each other? Final Fantasy VII's events are canon to Final Fantasy Remake, but somehow, someway, the timeline has been messed up. If you know Kingdom Hearts, then you know that Nomura is a big fan of this. Perhaps Master Xehanort is the real villain of Final Fantasy VII Remake? Just kidding, no way. But what if somehow Sephiroth, or someone we don't even know, has come back in time to alter the events, and there are certain characters or beings within the story that are aware of this and are doing something about it?
All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
The world won't end today. But you will.
Careful now. That which lies ahead does not yet exist. Our world will become a part of it one day, but I will not end. Nor will I have you end.
This is
the edge of creation. Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
Given the case that there could be separate timelines, it begs the question, how did this come about? It could have just been some act of divine intervention or just random, but I doubt it. It's probably a specific person that caused this to happen. Our best guess is Sephiroth, because he seemed to know of future events, namely that his plans are going to fail. However, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that he's the person who messed with time. This is because Aerith even has been speaking in an ominous manner as if she knows things to come, and in the last battle, Cloud seemed to be seeing visions of the future, so perhaps Sephiroth also has seen the future and he's just more aware of what's going on. What if it's someone you would never expect? What if it's Master Seymour? I mean, that makes no sense and probably will never happen, but fun fact, if you didn't know, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII are within the same universe. This is a canonical fact. In fact, there's a character named Shinra within Final Fantasy X. You know, like President Shinra from Final Fantasy VII. He's actually the ancestor of the president. So not to say that this has to do with this whole time parallel universe thing, but just don't be surprised in the future if they somehow find a way to put in aspects of Final Fantasy X into Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I digress. The event in the story that inspired this thought is Barret's death. Barret did not die in the original Final Fantasy VII. The interesting thing is, well, he dies and then he gets revived. What's the point? I mean, it doesn't really affect too much of what's gonna happen later on in the story if he just gets revived right after dying. Was it just a cheap trick to create some suspense? Maybe, but there could be a more elaborate reason. It could be setting precedent for something that will happen future in the story, or giving us a clue to the overarching theme of this entire game.
This death was not the one ordained for you by fate.
When Barret dies, he gets revived by these things called the Whispers. What we find out later in the story is that these things are meant to fix destiny. Destiny is like predetermined, meaning things are supposed to happen a certain way. Fixing a timeline, if you could look at it that way.
Perhaps best described as arbiters of fate. They are drawn to those who attempt to alter destiny's course and ensure they do not.
Like capital D? Destiny?
The flow of the great river that is the planet, from inception to oblivion.
And you're saying that that flow is somehow fixed?
Yes, for it is the will of the planet itself.
So if we're destined for a bleak future, these Whispers will try to keep us on that course?
Two things stick out to me about the Whispers. One, the name. In one of Tetsu no Mora's other stories, known as The World Ends With You, you have these otherworldly beings known as the Noises. Noise, whisper, you can see where I'm going with this. And what the Noise do is that they live on another plane of existence than what regular real life is, what the regular timeline is. They have their own world that almost mirrors the regular world, but they affect things, and it's almost your job to fix things, sort of, and do all sorts of things that is supposed to almost make regular life normal again. So if Final Fantasy VII has a timeline alteration, well, you would need beings that are above the regular plane of existence, that are above time and space, in order to fix things, to correct things. The second thing about Whispers is that they look like Grim Reapers. And in The World End With You, they have Reapers. They are supposed to be the guys that are sort of like in charge of everything. They're the officials. They actually really calculate and plan everything and make sure everything's going according to plan. Have you ever seen the movie Final Destination? In that, people avoid death, their destination, their destiny. So death almost haunts them and makes sure that they die. Well, in Barret's situations, it's almost the reverse. Like, he wasn't supposed to die, so it's like death came and undone his death. But what if some point in the future we will have that correct Final Destination scenario? First of all, if Aerith does die like she did in the original Final Fantasy VII, I don't see her getting revived like Barret, because unlike Barret, she is meant to die in that scenario. But if she does survive, however, I believe that the Whispers are going to make sure that she dies. It's going to be their job to ensure her death, to make sure that the timeline is going the way it's meant to.
Aerith, what are you not telling us?
I'm lost in a maze, and every step is taking me further from the path. Every time the Whispers touch me, I lose something, a part of myself. Follow them, the yellow flowers.
It's okay. We'll find a way out together.
Okay.
And I believe Aerith is aware of this. She says that the Whispers make her feel like she's losing herself, like she's dying. The Whispers are almost like haunting her. They're waiting for her to die. They're there to make sure that she will die when she's meant to. And Aerith in the current story, almost seems like she's kind of accepted this, like, well, this is what's gonna happen to me. I can, maybe she's not know it's her death, maybe she just has a bad feeling, but she knows something bad's gonna happen, but it's her path. She's supposed to go down that route. But in a very symbolic gesture, you see Tifa grab out to Aerith and grab her out of the whisper tornado, whatever that was. And it's like, no, you're not dying. We aren't gonna let you die. We're your friends. And I believe there's gonna be that sort of boss battle or whatever where it's like, protect Aerith from the whispers, she can't die. However, these whispers almost have like a specter, ghost, ethereal essence to them, where they might be omnipotent, or you know, you can kill them but only temporarily. Like there is no permanent solution unless you have to break some kind of curse. This is where I think Zack will re-enter the story.
Destiny comes.
Zack has been shown to supposedly skip his final destination and actually make it out alive. We don't know where he is in the present story, but maybe he has been fighting off whispers his entire life, and now when he comes back, he's some kind of badass whisper slayer that is like so used to it, and it can finally reunite Zack and Aerith. In Crisis Core, which Tetsuya Nomura wasn't the director, but he did have a role in the stories and everything's creation. He was a consultant. Aerith and Zack seem to have some kind of bond, possibly romantic. This game might be a way of having that final resolution of them actually being able to be together. Zack might come to Aerith, who's dealing with all these whispers trying to kill her, and be like, yeah, that's our life now. We're basically cursed, but whatever, we can live this out. And they have their own thing going on, because let's say the whispers can't die and they're constantly coming up to Aerith. Well, that kind of disrupts the whole game. Like, you can't have it Cloud and everybody's doing their own thing going after Sephiroth. Meanwhile, the whispers are constantly trying to attack them. Something has to kind of be done to make it where they can go on their journey, but Aerith is still safe. And that's just my whole overarching theory, and who knows, but I just had to make this video. Thanks for watching. That's it for Food for Thought. I made it short and sweet, but if you'd like to hear me elaborate more, then stick around for the secret ending. Would like Food for Thought? Then check out the rest of my channel. Deep Dive is my pride and joy. Video essays that take a ton of research and meticulous analyzing and theory crafting. If you're looking for a video that views a story on a deep level to completely warp how you view things, then Deep Dive is the perfect place to be. Although the videos may be very long, they are split up into chapters, and I even have a table of contents in the comments section, just for your convenience. That way you don't have to watch the entire episode in one sitting. I hope you enjoy. What you're about to watch is one chapter of many. To find the full episode of Deep Dive, go head over to my YouTube channel, elisdeezee. Enjoy this chapter. This episode is going to be focused on Xemnas. Now, this one character can be interpreted in so many ways. Was he the big bad guy, or was he just a pawn of the real bad guy? Was he a tragic hero, or was he actually just a victim of his circumstances? Today, I'm going to expose Xemnas for what he really is. Xemnas is the main antagonist of Kingdom Hearts 2. Based off that story alone, it appears as if he wanted to give him and his 12 other buddies a heart. Then Dream Drop Distance came around, and it was revealed that he was actually working for Master Xehanort. He was going to give his comrades a heart, but it was just going to be the heart belonging to the bald old man. This turned Xemnas from a man trying to help him and those like him into another one of Xehanort's pawns. I don't know about you, but that left a bad taste in my mouth. It seemed almost as if it was a retcon. I was constantly on the fence about whether I believed it was planned all from the start or retconned. Then I realized, back in Kingdom Hearts 2, Xemnas is seen returning to Radiant Garden and visiting an old friend. If Xemnas was just an extension of Master Xehanort, then it wouldn't make sense for him to go there, let alone consider Aqua's armor an old friend. That is where I began to suspect that this nobody doesn't belong to Xehanort, or at least not the Xehanort we're thinking of. So first, let me address the Terra situation. Yes, technically that is Terra's body, however, a nobody is made of both the body and soul of the original. That is why Xemnas is not Terra's nobody. When you consider both the soul and the body, then it means the nobody would identify as belonging to Xehanort. Well, not Master Xehanort. I'm actually referring to Apprentice Xehanort. Alright, let's look at the 3 phrases of Xehanort throughout Birth by Sleep.
Come to the place where all Keyblade wielders leave their mark on fate. The Keyblade Graveyard.
Terra's heart has been extinguished, smothered by the darkness within him!
Hey, you're not Terra. Just gotta check.
Do you see it? It's in the eyes. That was my first clue into Apprentice Xehanort being a different person than Master Xehanort. However, physical changes aren't enough to justify them being different. What we really need to know is what was going through his mind. Did he fake amnesia and play them as fools? Well, when you look at the Ansem reports and the way he treated the real Ansem and his fellow apprentice, it appeared as if he was truly dedicated to his role as apprentice and taking on the name Ansem. Nothing outright makes it seem as if he remembers. Anything close to implying that he was faking it is left ambiguous. Just think, why would he write his own reports as if he has amnesia? Why did he attack Xigbar the way that he did? Most importantly, why did he want it to be called Ansem?
My name is Ansem.
There's so much mystery surrounding this Xehanort. Don't be surprised if he shows back up in the story, but that isn't what this video is going to be about. Truthfully, it doesn't matter much of this theory, how or when he got amnesia, but it's about whether he lost his memories long enough to develop his own sense of identity. We have seen on multiple occasions that those with lost memories of who they originated from end up developing their own sense of identity. You can give Roxas or Xion Sora's memories, but that won't turn them into Sora. It may even get them to look like him, but that won't erase the heart that they developed.
No! My heart belongs to me!
Even Replica Riku, who was Riku's exact copy, but still managed to have his own identity and heart. My point is, even if Apprentice Xehanort had gotten back all of Master Xehanort's memories, that doesn't mean he would turn into Master Xehanort, or should I say Terra Xehanort. You might be wondering, well, if Apprentice Xehanort was his own person, then why did he still choose to betray Ansem and the rest? Well, had he regained his memories, it'd be obvious why. However, the reports in Kingdom Hearts 3 suggest he didn't have his memories back when he was conducting his experiments behind Ansem's back. While it does say he began to recover his memory, this confirms and solidifies that he did in fact have amnesia. But what's more important is that how he began to recover his memory. It wasn't gradual or randomly over time, but rather as a result of an experiment. This experiment was mentioned back in the Ansem secret reports in Kingdom Hearts 2, and that must have been the crack in his heart. We know from Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories that even when some memories alter or removed, there is one memory that can never go away.
Call out to that piece of memory that glimmers faintly deep inside your heart. No matter how far away the light gets, your heart's voice will always reach it.
Who's most special to me? That's an easy one. It's you, Namit.
That memory is located and protected in the person's heart. We also know from Dream Drop Distance that a person can lose their memory of events that take place in their life, and despite those memories crossing time itself, it will still be etched into their heart.
Still, my appointed path is now etched in my heart, which will first lead me to seek the outside world.
What this means is that even though Apprentice Xehanort may not identify as Master Xehanort still has influence over Apprentice Xehanort's heart. Hey, did you like the chapter? Then go check out the entire episode on my YouTube channel, elisdeezee. It may be long, but I split it up into chapters and have a table of contents just for your convenience. There's a lot of detail and hard work that went into this. I promise you, it's well worth it. As a community, let's show the world just how amazing and how serious they can take our favorite characters and stories. It will change the way you perceive and appreciate the story.